إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We praise Him and we ask His help and we seek His forgiveness and we seek refuge in Allah from the evil inside us and from the evil consequences of our bad actions. Whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides, no one can misguide. And whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala leaves to go astray, no one can guide. I testify that there is no God to be worshipped but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is our master, our teacher, our leader, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that among His signs that He created for you spouses in order to dwell with them or in order to find peace and tranquility in them. And then He placed between you mawaddatan wa rahmah, love and mercy, compassion and mercy. In this ayah, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala outlines the basis, the objectives, and the goals of marriage in Islam, which is the sakina, to achieve the sakina that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressed, to achieve that peace and tranquility. First, the ayah begins by addressing the fact that we all, men and women, are from the same source, or created from the same source, which signifies equality. And if the essence of our creation is the same, then the question or the argument of who's better, who's superior, who's greater than the other is just useless. Then the ayah goes to explain to us two of the most important ingredients of any successful marriage, which is mawaddah and rahmah, compassion and mercy. People sometimes they translate mawaddah as hubb, as love. But mawaddah in Arabic is more meaningful than the word love. Mawaddah, you can say it's a special type of love. It's the love that when you have for someone, you don't ask for anything in return. That's mawaddah. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called Himself al-wadud, the compassionate. He did not call Himself al-muhibb or al-habib, because mawaddah is more meaningful. It's broader than the word love. And then He said mercy, rahmah. So you have those two ingredients, mawaddah, love, or compassion, and mercy. And what sustains the relationship, brothers and sisters, what keeps the relationship alive is the second, is mercy. Mercy is what keeps everything intact. You know, because when you get married, you're so passionate.
You're obsessed with your spouse. You're always talking. You cannot stop talking about them. You can't stop thinking about them. You know? But when marriage goes further, then other obligations come in. Your job, kids, this, that, the other. And so the love is not there anymore. That passionate relationship is not there anymore. But what sustains it, what sustained the relationship is mercy. You know, a man came to Umar ibn Khattab and he says, Ya Amir al-Mu'minin, I want to divorce my wife. He said, why? He said, I'm not in love with her anymore. You know, I'm not attracted to her anymore. Then Umar ibn Khattab said to him, فَأَيْنَ الرِّعَايَةِ وَأَيْنَ التَّذَمُّمُ وَالتَّذَمُّمُ بِمَعْنَى الْإِحْسَانِ. He said to him, what about courtesy? What about mercy? Because it's not just about love. It's not just about love. A lot of people say that. I'm not in love with my wife anymore. I'm not in love, I'm not attracted to my husband anymore. My husband he's getting older. Well, yeah, my husband is just, he's gaining weight. My husband is this, my husband is that. I'm not attracted to him. But really, it's not about attraction. It's not about love. It's not just about love. It's about courtesy. It's about the mawadda that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about. It's about the rahmah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about. So Umar ibn Khattab said to him, what about ri'ayah? What about mercy? What about courtesy? Doesn't she take care of you and your kids? Doesn't she put up with all your stuff? Right? So in every relationship, for it to grow, you have to have mercy. In every relationship, for it to flourish, you need mercy in your relationship. And in every relationship also there's some rights and responsibilities. But for me, when it comes to marriage relationship, it's more about responsibilities. You know, when people will come and ask me about to talk about rights of this and rights of that, the rights of the wife, the rights of the husband, the rights of... I talk about responsibilities. Because it's not about rights. It's about responsibilities. If you fulfill your responsibilities, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of your rights. If you fulfill your responsibilities in any relationship, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of your rights. And there's so many ayat in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlighted the responsibilities of both, you know, the husband and wife in a relationship. One of these ayat is one of the most famous ayah, or it's famous because the second half of the ayah is really famous. A lot of us don't even know how the ayah starts, but we know that part about وَضْرِبُوهُنَّ. You know, that men or some people, they use it to say, well, Sharia or the Quran or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala permits for me to hit my wife. So it's one of the most famous ayat in the Quran, and it's one of the most misunderstood ayat in the Quran as well. And my intention is not to talk about that part, that second part of the ayah. I had a khutbah, I believe I had a khutbah in the past where I spoke only about this part. So today, inshallah, I want to just talk about the beginning of the ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. Men are qawwam over women. Sometimes you come across some translations, they say men are superior to women. Men are in charge of women. They have authority over women. But when you look actually in the Arabic dictionary, just a normal Arabic dictionary, or any book that talks about mufradat ma'ani al-Quran, these books that they analyze the words in the Quran, the words of the Quran, none of them, zero, suggested that qawama means authority, or that you be in charge, or that you're superior, or that you're greater, or you're better. None of them. So what is the meaning of the word qawama? There's a few meanings for the word qawama. Qawama comes from the root word qama, and qama is to stand. Iqamatul salah, when the mu'adhin makes iqama, everybody gets up. Qiyamul layl, you get up. And the idea of being standing, it means being active, being involved. And so in this ayah, it means that men must play an active role in a woman's life. And the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Qayyum. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-Hayy Al-Qayyum. What is the meaning of the Al-Qayyum? What is the meaning of Allah being Al-Qayyum? It means that He's actively involved. He doesn't just create people and leave them alone. He takes care of them. He sustains for them. He provides for them. He removes harm. He blessed them with all kinds of things. So He is actively involved in the affairs of people. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me clarity in speech today so that you understand everything that I say. And I hope that you pay attention. Those who are married, pay attention. Those who are not, well, pay attention to see what kind of trouble you get in yourself in the future. So, because some people got upset at me at the first khutbah. A couple of men, a couple of women. So, I'm not suggesting that this is what I understand. I'm telling you what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or that would be a little bit arrogant, what in the books. So hopefully you pay attention. So that's the first meaning of the word qawama. So the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Qayyum, comes from the same root word as qawama, which means that He's actively involved in the affairs of His servants. The second meaning of the word qawama is thabbata. And thabbata means to stay in place. Thabbata means to stay in place, to stay firm, to support. And in this ayah, it means that men are always there to support their wives. The third, it means azama. Qawama means azama. When you are committed to do something. When you don't give up on something. And so in this ayah, it means that men are committed, incredibly committed to their wives. The fourth, hafadha or lazama, is to protect. In this ayah, it means that men are protective of their women. The fifth meaning, al-i'tina'u bi, to take care of something. So it means men are the caretaker of women. The sixth means adl, that they are fair. Men are fair to their wives. Men are fair to their wives, and they have to check themselves all the time. They have to evaluate themselves. So, am I being fair to my wife or not? So, reflecting in all these meanings, brothers and sisters, you come to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed men in a huge position of responsibilities with regard to their women. They should be there when their wives need them. They should be the maintainers, the caretakers, the supporters. If the wife has a problem, she knows where to go, her husband. That's the meaning of the word qawama. And then the ayah moves, the second part of the ayah is about women. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the responsibilities of men, the qawama, that you should be the provider, the maintainer, the caretaker, the supporter, the committed one in a relationship. You have to do this, you have to take care of her. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then said, فَالصَّالِحَاتُ. Therefore, here's the qualities of women. Salihatu. That's the first quality. What is salihat? A poor translation would be righteous women, good women. Sheikh Sha'rawi rahimahullah, he said, salihat comes from salaha, and salaha is to fix and repair. So the man is qawwam, the man again, he's the maintainer, he's the caretaker, he's the supporter. He's going to do everything that he can in order to fulfill all these obligations. He will do everything possible to fulfill his responsibilities. But you know what, sisters? He will make mistakes. He will slip. Because he's not perfect. And you will always find a reason to be angry at him. Brother, you talking about him, you're talking about, you know, that I should be salih, I should be to fix there, to be there to fix, to repair. You don't even know this man when he comes home. The first thing he does, he turns on the PlayStation, plays video game. You don't know anything about my pain and suffering. And I'll be a fool to claim that I know anything about your pain and your suffering. But I'm saying to you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the first quality, as long as he's qawwam, as long as he's fulfilling his obligations, the first quality for you is to salaha, to fix, to repair, to fight that impulse, to be angry or to hold a grudge, and to become someone who just wants to move on, someone who's there to fix and repair the relationship. Wallahi, sisters, and I'm still talking to sisters, and I hope they don't get upset at me. Sisters, you are the glue of the relationship. You know, a lot of people, they think, I've been doing this been an imam for almost 10 years now. I counseled a lot of people. Wallahi, a lot of people mistakenly think that men are the ones who maintain the relationship. But most of the time, 85%, 90%, actually women are the ones who repair. Women are the ones who fix. Women are the one who worried about the suffering of the family. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there, and He's asking you to salaha, to fix and repair. I understand, you know, that He didn't get you a gift for a long time, or He didn't take you out for a long time, or when was the last time that He went on a vacation with you? But again, it's just the quality. The first one is to salaha, is to fix and repair. What is the second? فَالصَّالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتُ. What is qanitat? Qanitat, Ibn Manzur, Ibn al-Anbari, and Raghib al-Asfahani, they said, Al-Qunut huwa at-ta'atu an iradatin wa raghbatin wa mahabba, la an irghamin wa tafallut. They said, Qunut means willing obedience, motivated by love. Not the kind of, obedience forced against someone's will. And so in this meaning, well, first, what is qunut? You know qunut. You get up at night and make qunut, right? And qunut could actually mean qiyamul layl. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam su'ala an-nabiy sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ayyu salati afdal? Qala tulul qunut. Tulul qunut. They asked him, Ya Rasulullah, what is the best prayer? He said, prolong your qiyam at night. So is qiyam mandatory, or you do it voluntarily? You do it voluntarily. You know, you pray 5 daily prayers. Those are the obligated prayers. But qiyam, qunut, you do it out of love. You do it because you want to draw near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so it's incredible that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the same word, qunut, to describe the second quality of wives in their relationship with their husband, that they are qanitat, that they do what they do out of love. They do what they do not because they are obligated to, but they want to. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says qanitat. وَلَمْ يَقُلْ طَائِعَات. He didn't say طَائِعَات. He said qanitat. And so when they serve their families, when they serve their husbands, they do it out of love. Out of love. And he used the qanitat just to stress on its pleasant psychological connotations, which fit perfectly with the type of compassion and affection that exists in this relationship between a man and his wife. What is the third quality? فَالصَّالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتُ حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ. That's an easy term to translate. حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ. That they honor, they guard their chastity. They guard their honor and the honor of their husbands in the absence of their husbands. They don't interact with men that their husbands don't want to interact with. They don't go into places that their husband don't want them to go to. They don't speak ill in the absence of their husbands because he's not there to defend himself. So these are the responsibilities and the qualities for men and women in a successful relationship. But you know, sometimes families go wrong. Sometimes the problem is so big that you cannot overcome. and the marriage comes to a dead end. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنْ يَتَفَرَّقَا يُغْنِ اللَّهُ كُلًّا مِنْ سَعَتِهِ. And if they decided to go separate directions, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of both of them. You know, because not every single one of us is compatible. But the one thing, brothers and sisters, the one thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates, the one thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates is oppression. The one thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hates is abuse. Is for a man to think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him the permission to mentally and physically and emotionally abuse his wife. That's despicable. And there are people who quote the second part of this verse, falsely claiming that Allah gave them the license to beat their wives, or to hit their wife, or emotionally or psychologically abuse their wives. You know, when somebody does that, he does it because he's a violent person. He does it because he's a violent person. He doesn't do it because there's a part of a verse that he understood wrongly that says, yeah, you go ahead and beat your wife. No, he does it and then he goes to look for something to justify his action. And you know, a person like that, it's just amazing sometimes when people who are like that, people who are violent with their spouses, with their children. They watch what's happening in Kashmir or they watch what's happening in Syria and then they start to weep. It doesn't make any sense. You should just look at this violence and say, hey man, yeah, it's terrible world out there, but so is my house. So is my house. How come someone will take a part of a verse? And again, my intention today is not to talk about this second part of the verse. I believe that I had khutbah, an entire khutbah about that part. Right? But how can someone take that small part? Wallahi, the people who quote this verse, wallahi, 80%, 85% of them, they don't even know where does it exist, which surah. They cannot even recite the entire verse or the beginning of the verse. You have to say, know that part. How can you ignore the other explicit ayat in the Quran and the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the way he treated his wife sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? How can you ignore فَإِمْسَاكٌ بِمَعْرُوفٍ أَوْ تَسْرِيحٌ بِإِحْسَانٍ? Treat her well or just let her go in peace. That actually, this ayah became a sunnah amongst the Sahaba and the Tabi'een. Throughout the history of Islam actually. That when someone comes to you to propose to your daughter and your daughter appointed you to be the wali, the sunnah is to say, زَوَّجْتُهَا لَكَ بِأَمْرِ اللَّهِ وَمَا هُوَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ إِمْسَاكٌ بِمَعْرُوفٍ أَوْ تَسْرِيحٌ بِإِحْسَانٍ. That they marry her off to you according to the law of Allah. And what is the law of Allah? You treat her well or just let her go in peace. How can someone ignore all of this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually addressed those people who ignore certain ayat and believe in others. You know, he said, الَّذِينَ جَعَلُوا الْقُرْآنَ عِضِينَ. And he said in another verse, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. Do you believe in one part of the Quran and ignore the rest, or ignore the other part? Doing an injustice to the Quran. So don't think that you just understand this part, this small part, the second part of the verse, and all of a sudden you are a mufassir, or you're a faqih, or you're a mullah, or you're a mufti. You know, if you want to do tafsir, well, go study tafsir. Go study fiqh. If you want to make a tafsir, do tafsir of that part of that verse in that surah, at least study the Surah An-Nisa, which is so difficult surah when it comes to this tafsir. It's so difficult. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse, He does not talk about normal circumstances. In the entire surah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses certain issues in that surah, He's not talking about normal circumstances. You know, since I was a little kid, when I looked at this verse in Surah An-Nisa, حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ أُمَّهَاتُكُمْ وَبَنَاتُكُمْ وَعَمَّاتُكُمْ. Why would Allah say that? He doesn't need to tell me that I cannot marry my mother or my sister or my daughter. But he's not talking about normal circumstances. And the surah is just filled of things like that. The only, or the one tafsir, and I said that I'm not going to go tafsir in that part, but just that one part, you know, that one opinion of Ibn Ashur, rahimahullah, in his tafsir al-Tanwir wa-Tahrir, Tahir ibn Ashur. A volume, I think number 5, pages between 40 to 45. He said, أما هذه الآثار والأخبار عندي فيجب أن يراعى فيها العرف واختلاف الناس وأزمنتهم وطبقاتهم وثقافاتهم, which is, I really think it's really fair. He said when you try to interpret a verse like this, or he said that people differ and cultures differ. And so if you try to interpret a verse like this, then you have to put into the consideration the customs of people. And then he quoted, لا إله إلا الله فعاشروهن بالمعروف. Treat them kindly. Treat your wife kindly. بالمعروف. According to the standard of your time. Because ma'ruf comes from urf. And what is urf? Urf means custom, tradition. And so the time, the culture, the customs, the socioeconomic of people, the status of people, all these things must be taken into consideration when you try to do tafsir of some ayah like that. And brothers and sisters, wallahi, there is no one on the face of this earth, not even an animal, that should be terrorized, should be tortured and humiliated, let alone a human being. And someone that you go at night and sleep right next to her. And Rasulullah said, أَمَا يَسْتَحِي أَحَدُكُمْ? Don't you have a shame? Did she hit your wife during the day and you want to go and sleep with her at night? Did you have a shame? أَلَا تَسْتَحِي? And where are we from the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. That Rasulullah is a great example for you, the role model for you. And he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as Aisha said, مَا ضَرَبَ النَّبِيُّ أَحَدًا بِيَدِهِ قَطْ لَمْرَأَةً وَلَا عَبْدًا وَلَا دَابَّةً إِلَّا أَنْ يَكُونَ جِهَادًا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. That the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam never hit a woman, never hit a slave or a servant or a little boy or even an animal, unless it's a jihad for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said, لَا تَضْرَبُوا إِمَاءَ اللَّهِ. Don't hit the servant, the female servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, we have to consider all these things, brothers and sisters. We have to consider the sakina that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked to us about. I mean, what kind of sakina is that? Where is the sakina? I mean, sakina, sakana, the word sakana. Let's go back to the beginning of the verse, the beginning of the khutbah. I started with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He created for respect in order to dwell. Taskunu, sakan, maskan is a home, is a house. What is really interesting that the word peace, salam, comes from the same root word as sakan. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the sakan of the mar'ah, the sakan of the woman, the home of the woman must be a place of peace and tranquility. So these are the things that we need to consider. And for sisters, or some brothers actually who are in an abusive relationship, there are also some husbands, some brothers who are abused by their wives. They're hit by their wives. If you are in a relationship like that, first, you have to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows your pain and your suffering. You have to understand that these things will not go unpunished. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not allow your patience to go unrewarded. So the reward is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In dunya, my advice really in this dunya, if you are in a domestic violence situation, don't feel discouraged to talk about it. Don't feel discouraged to report it. Because that can actually cause you to lose your sanity and the sanity of your children. Don't let your culture guilt you into silence. It's better for you to just be quiet. Well, what if he divorces you now? No, you're out in the streets. Well, he's not God. Well, if he divorces you or you divorce him, well, who's going to provide for you? Who's going to bring food on the table? Well, he's not a razaq. He's not. You know, the Egyptians, they say, "Dill ragil wala dill hayta." You know, better have a man than nothing. No, that's wrong. That's wrong attitude. That's wrong attitude. If you are in an abusive relationship, you should actually be encouraged to talk about it, to report it. You know, if you have kids and they see you in that situation, that will definitely affect them. That will actually have a very negative impact on them. You know? And it actually Islamic. It's Islamic to talk about these things. You know, Fatima bint Qais, a woman who was a beautiful woman. Everybody wanted to marry her. She went to the Prophet ﷺ. She said, there are three people are proposing. I need your advice. And then she gave them the names of those three people. One of them was Abu al-Jahm. His name, a man by the name Abu al-Jahm. He said, إن أبا الجهم رجلا لا يضع عصاه على كتفيه. That this man, he does not put his stick down. And in riwayah and Sunan al-Nasa'i, he said, ضراب للنساء. This man is not just darib for women. He's darab, which is صيغة مبالغة, that he's excessively hit women. So Rasulullah ﷺ saw a red flag in this person and he warned her from him. Well, if he's an abuser, if he hits people, then, you know, most likely if you marry him, he will treat you the same. Brothers and sisters, again, the purpose, the goal of getting married is to achieve that second. It's to achieve that peace. It's to achieve this tranquility. And sisters, again, wallahi, you are the glue of this relationship. Akhi, take today, inshallah, just a practical task. Today, take your wife out. You know, take her out for dinner or something. Go home. Before you go home, just stop somewhere, get her a gift, some flowers, something. Cook for her tonight. You know, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the last thing he said, ittaqullaha fi nisa. Ittaqullaha fi nisa. Ittaqullaha fi nisa. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding women. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding women. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding women. If you have a strong family, a strong house, you will have a strong community. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your families. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put love, mercy, and compassion in our relationship with one another and with our spouses. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove any sense or any little bit of connotation or animosity or jealousy or any of these diseases out of our hearts. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala root them out of our hearts. Allahumma ameen. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما. وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. الحمد لله. Inshallah, our expenses are rising due to increased security costs while our donation are falling, so please give generously. Friday night life will be held in NPR tonight from 6 to 7, followed by a social hour and snacks for the youth. Tonight at ICOI from 7:30 to 9:30, inshallah, we will be hosting a film screening about sexual violence in the Muslim community, followed by a facilitated discussion and dessert. And please join us as we address this important topic. ICOI's community assistance team will also be present to collect donations to make care packages for victims of domestic violence. For more details, see the flyers, inshallah, in the lobby. ICOI's Young Professional Speaker Series will be held again this Wednesday, April the 19th. Inshallah, Dr. Dina Litribi, the head of school at New Horizon educator and community leader, is our guest. ICOI and AIM Academy are presenting their first annual Youth Eid card design contest, open to age 6 to 18. For more details, see the flyer in the lobby. This week for 100 days of Rahmah, let us all pledge to respect the elderly, greet them, and give them a warm hug. A Muslim Single Network of Mission View Masjid is hosting their next event tomorrow, April 15th, inshallah. Anyone interested in attending must register today. Access California is having a job fair, open to all brothers and sisters on April 21st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Reminder, Jum'ah services that are held at the Forest Lanes Bowling Alley every week beginning at 1 p.m. for those who might be running late and not be able to make it here at times. Meet your Muslim neighbors, inshallah, will be on April 30th from 3 to 5:30 p.m. It's getting longer and longer every week. Du'as for the sick. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove their distress. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them speedy recovery. Allahumma ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make their life easy. Allahumma ameen. Our brother Ashrik, NGU, and Arzuhan, Narjisa, and Amali, brother Harun Hussein, Fakhriya Ibrahim, and Fatima Abu Bakr. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him speedy recovery. Allahumma ameen. Our Fartoon Ahmed, Amina Farah, and Ahmed Muhammad. Those who passed away, Zubaydah, Khanoum, Salim, Akbar, Anpia, and Mahan. I hope that I'm pronouncing these right. Jachin and Shinjari and Ati. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala resurrect them with the prophets and the messengers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them the Firdaus in Jannah. Allahumma ameen. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. اللهم اجعل هذا الجمع جمعا مرحوما. اللهم اجعل هذا الجمع جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل فينا ولا حولنا ولا خلفنا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان. اللهم من ولي من أمر المسلمين أمرا فرفق بهم فارفق به. اللهم من ولي من أمر المسلمين أمرا فرفق بهم فارفق به. ومن اشتد عليهم فاشدد عليه. ومن اشتد عليهم فاشدد عليه. Oh Allah, we ask you to honor us as you honor the righteous people before us. Oh Allah, we ask you to have mercy on our parents and bless our children. Oh Allah, we ask you to protect us from anxiety and grief, and from inability and laziness, and from poverty. Oh Allah, we ask you to place love, mercy, compassion, and gentleness and kindness in our relationship to one another, and place rahmah, mercy, in our homes, in our communities, in our gatherings. Allahumma ameen. Oh Allah, we ask you to remove any type of animosity or hatred that we might have in our hearts towards anyone. آمين آمين آمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم واسألوه يعطيكم واستغفروه يغفر لكم وأقم الصلاة.